What up? Hey, hey, hey. How y'all doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I know it's been a while since I have been here on Ka-Pow, but we are sincerely trying to change it. Let me switch these mics really quick. There you go. Hopefully, you guys are hearing me all right. Yes, I know that it's been a while since we've been here live on Ka-Pow, but welcome. I am Solo, Doc Solo, as my students call me, the director of Ka-Pow, the Comic Art Academy, and welcome to a really relaxed sketch and chill session. I'm working on some art style simplification and exploration today. Um, my go-to style when I'm doing comics is considered a very mainstream slash iconic style of art, and so whenever possible, I like to explore simplified versions. Because as you if you don't know, um, mainstream slash iconic style comic art can be a little labor intensive at times. It can be a little labor intensive. And so I know I'm backlit here because I'm about to get over to my drafting table, so excuse the darkness on my face. First of all, hello, Wasabi Cheetah. Hello, how are you, my friend? Welcome all if you're watching from Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to start making this a regular thing. I'm committing myself starting next week, even though I have a convention next week. I'm committing myself to at least 8 hours presence on Ka-Pow for streaming and getting all my socials in order. If you guys are interested in learning from me and my incredible team of instructors at Ka-Pow, the Comic Art Academy, check us out. Go to teachyoutodraw.com. And we are aka kapowschool.com. They take you to the same website. Teachyoutodraw.com. I kind of feel remiss when I don't use that because it is such a coveted URL and I happen to own it. And so, but whatever suits your fancy, whichever's easier for you to remember, teachyoutodraw.com or kapowschool.com, they'll both take you and apply for your interview today. We only have 7 seats available, as that nice little graphic right here lets us know. We only have 7 seats available, which I am so excited and blessed that the school is growing. We have 2 incredible industry professional instructors. I'm not going to name drop, but go ahead and apply. And we're going to be doing some streams as well. My instructors and I, we will be teaming up periodically and just doing some live drawing sessions from the administrative staff at Ka-Pow, the Comic Art Academy. And hopefully you guys enjoy that. But for now, it's just me. And so I sketched up a little bit of Magneto. I started on him yesterday before I went to bed. It was kind of a cool down. It was kind of a cool down session. But we're going to go ahead and I'm studying Mike Waringo. And so I'm a big fan of, whenever possible, studying any of your favorites or your greats. He's a favorite of mine who, quite honestly, left us too soon. Mike Waringo, aka Ringo, whom the incredible Ringo Award is named after at Baltimore Comic Con, that spotlights industry professionals. He has an award named after him, but he's an incredible artist. He was an incredible artist, and I was a huge fan of his open, loose, fun style. And so even though this is not it, I'm not trying to, when I do a style exploration, I'm not really trying to draw like the artist. I'm trying to dial in to the beats that are prominent, so like with him, it's the deep blacks, it's bigger eyes, it's more rounded edges, almost a cartoony-esque feel. And so I may not be quite, again, don't compare me to him. He's a master, and I do not do him justice. I do not claim to do him justice, but this is, the beautiful thing about art is having it filter through your personal lens. And so, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and switch mics and get over to my drafting table really quick. If you guys have anything, feel free to jump in. I'm going to get the music going as well. A little chill music. All right, cool. All right, let me know if you're picking me up okay. I'm gonna monitor my stream from my as well as I can from right here. Hope everybody's having a great Saturday. It's muggy here in Chicago. It's muggy. It's kind of hot. It's been humid. It's been rainy. The whole 9 yards. If you guys are lurking, let me know that you're here, where you're lurking from, and I'll give you guys a shout out. There we go. Stream manager. There we go. Cool. So on my laptop, I have some reference, mostly on Pinterest and Google. And again, this is really for me just to kind of explore the beats of his style. I'm not really trying to mimic him in any real way. You know, when I was in animation, it was a very big thing to stay on model. If you guys have any questions, feel free to holler at me. Doing a little Magneto love today. And again, this is more of a simplified style that I'm just kind of playing with. I'm going for something a little bit more a little rounder around the edges, which is why I started looking at Ringo. His style is so distinct and eye-catching. Again, I was a huge fan of his work for a long time, and he is not to be replaced, nor attempted to be replaced by any stretch of the imagination. Using a simple Copic multiliner here. And just FYI, for those of you guys who are checking me out, I am indeed a page spinner. No shame in my game. I spin the page. All right, so if you get dizzy watching artists flip the page around, I apologize ahead of time. I'm a page spinner. Always draw to the strength of your stroke. I'm not going to be on long today. I just want to kind of get some strokes in. I've been playing with this. I think this is a pilot fine tip. Don't quote me on that. I have so many. And I love playing with brushes and brush tips because it really is an exercise in motor control and pressure control. Our students are currently in a summer class learning digital as well as traditional inking techniques. Something we offer for our second year students, those going into year 2. And they all took us up on it, which was amazing. It's optional. It's not part of the main curriculum. But that's why we have people apply for Ka-Pow, because we want a certain type of student. We want those that are committed, and are going to do the work and, see the value in the opportunities to learn from incredible professional artists. And I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about my instructors. My dudes are the bomb. I'm going to have that undershadow here. Just going to have this light source coming from his hands. So if I get into a flow, feel free. Sound off. Let me know that if you're here. If you have any questions, this is to learn. This is an opportunity to kind of pick my brain and check my process and ask any questions that you may have about the industry or self-publishing. I've done all the things, including animation. The most famous artist you've never heard of. That's my moniker. This dude was so freaking epic. Got my granddaughter's upstairs, so I'm just really just trying to check in and let the algorithm know that show it some proof of life. Some proof of life, yes, that I'm still drawing. I still have the best of intentions with growing our presence here, live and everywhere. Come check me out if you guys are doing any cons. I'm doing the con thing. We're in the throes of convention season in the comic book industry, which is always fun. A little undershadow there. You're going to see me switch up tools eventually here too. I'm just really just kind of experimenting here, not only with the style, but with this brush, because I'm totally not familiar with it, and see how much control it really gives me. One thing about being an artist, you're going to find out that you always have to be willing to sacrifice your artwork on the altar of progress by using and experimenting with new things. Hey Generalist, how are you? I was wondering if you have any advice for small artists doing commissions. Is there a particular, that's a kind of a broad question. Got a lot of advice, especially on commissions. But for small artists doing commissions, advice number one is learn how to price yourself accordingly, right? I find that a lot of artists that are just coming out of the gate don't really know how to position themselves in the marketplace, right? Because they're you know, especially newer artists. I don't know how new you are. You said small, so I'm assuming that's new as well, or well, anyway, my advice would be this: learn where you land in the landscape, where you fit in the landscape. One thing about commissions is that it's a sliding scale based on resume, based on actual ability, draftsmanship, technique, the whole 9 yards, and also based on tenure. These are things that a lot of people don't know how to properly calculate, because it is somewhat subjective. It's somewhat subjective, but it has some very objective benchmarks for which to you know, rate yourself. Okay, a lot of new artists, when they start doing commissions, especially if they have some ability, they will underprice themselves, right? Some will overprice themselves simply because they've self-published their own things and have some successful Kickstarters. But most art enthusiasts, they kind of know, because they've already bought from someone reputable in the past. Like, so in full transparency, my experience has been primarily, I don't know if you're still here, Generalist, but my experience primarily has been in the freelance arena with studios, video games, some licensing stuff with, you know, Marvel, that kind of stuff. I didn't really start selling my artwork until I opened up the school, my originals, and it was a master class in positioning and pricing yourself. And so because I had experience, right, and I had a resume, I already knew, at least to a very loose degree, where I kind of fit. I knew I wasn't a mainstream name, right? I couldn't demand some of the prices that some of my compatriots that were mainstream, like, you know, at cons and whatnot. I knew what they could charge, right? Because not only was I a professional, but, you know, and I'm always a fan, right? And so I was realistic with, okay, I can't do what they do, right? They've done this many issues, they've won this many awards, even though I may be just as proficient as they are, but my name recognition wouldn't carry. And so, and the things that I'd worked on, like, you know, in animation, though they held value, they didn't really apply as much. They applied to certain people, you know, with certain fans, but not so much with others, right? And so what I would say is find someone that is like really kind of like where you are, you know, in the landscape. See what they're doing, if there's someone like that, and then of course there's actual skill. So I'll show you something really quickly. I gotta mail this out. So there's a little story before I show what I'm about to show you. I was at C2E2 here. You know, I'm out of Chicago. Our classes, though, are online, but I'm personally out of the Chicagoland area. So I was at C2E2, the home show, and a gentleman comes up and he says, I want you to do a commission for me. He wants a commission. And I'm like, okay. And he said, I go to cons all the time. I have a huge collection. He has a thing for Storm. And it's like, oh, wow, you like Storm? It's like, yeah. And he handed me a blank sketch cover. He's like, how much? I see your prices. I had my prices on the table. And I said, okay. And he says, just so you know, I have some really big names in my collection. And he showed me his collection. He had a videotape of his home gallery of all his pieces of Storm, right? And when I tell you, it was a plethora of who's who in the industry, right? Guys that I'm a fan of, and I don't mind saying I'm a fan, even though I'm a professional. I think you should always be a fan to some degree, right? I was intimidated when I saw this dude's collection. And he said to me, and he was so gracious, I said, whoa. I said, dude, you want my stuff in that collection? He's like, nah, man. He says, the quality of your work. He's like, you're right up there with those guys. I'm like, wow. Well, thank you. I'll take the flattery. But what it did was it helped me adjust my prices moving forward, because he was obviously able to pay a higher price, because I know he had to pay a higher price for the guys that he got. But at the same time, now being included in this collection, it gave me an increased heightened value. So this is the Storm piece that I did for him. I have to mail it out, right? This is the Storm piece I did for him. And so, it's a sliding scale. Hopefully that helps, right? Know where you land in the landscape. Don't underprice yourself. Don't. You're better served underpricing yourself and reading the reaction of your potential commissioners than you are overpricing yourself and wondering why no one's coming to check you out. No one's putting any work your way. Does that help, generalist? That's the long answer. I just don't want to leave you hanging. I really don't want to leave you hanging. You still there? Got some artifact on this brush that's messing me up. Does that help you at all? Hopefully it helps. So yeah, when in doubt, underprice, overdeliver, right? Here's another really telltale sign is when you give your price and people jump at it. Pay attention. Pay attention. Okay? If people are really quick to jump at your price, you might want to revisit it. You may be underpricing yourself at your talent level. Okay? If it's a pretty steady response, you're probably in a sweet spot. When I first started selling my art, man, let me tell you something. I was one guy jumped at my stuff, man. I'm like, okay, let me go back. And it's not about greed. It's about accuracy. You know what I mean? It's about accuracy. You know. Go all in with this black with his eyes. Go all in. And there's a plane right there, so I'll go ahead and make that angle right there. Okay. I think I'm pretty steady with this. I'm not going to ink this whole thing with this only because I want to play with this some more. I want to play with that more with fine line work. I'm going to go with something a little bit bigger to kind of fill in the heavy blacks. Something that gives me some better broad strokes. This is dry. Go ahead, crack another one open. Also, I have this paper here. I want this mic all in the camera. I'm not supposed to be in the camera. Jeez, oh, it's starting to fall. That's why. Hold on, y'all. Light's starting to fall. Make some adjustments. Right here on the table. You can go on the table. It's your mic. So you can tolerate being on the table. And roll. There we go. I just can't open up that drawer. I am going to cut this. Take this off. All right, cool. We are drawing. You guys pick me up still okay? Cool. Good stuff. So yes, happy Saturday one and all. Hopefully everything's well where you are.
Of the nation with a couple of high pressure cells behind it.
Okay. Let's give him a little. We're doing classic Magneto here. We're going to do classic mags. With the metallic-esque belt. It took me so long to get confident just using entirely black areas. Just the permanence of ink used to terrify me. I think a lot of young artists initially have that fear of it because it is, especially in traditional media. I'm talking traditional. You know, I got my Cintiq right over there in the corner.
Cells behind it and a few pockets of low pressure and a fairly heavy band of rain showers and snow all the way from the eastern portions of Montana down to western sections of Nevada. And of course the massive high picking up warm moist air from the south bringing it north.
All right. Look at some reference full mags. Not a character that I've drawn a lot of, to be honest. Yeah. I know he's got the bands. So we're gonna go ahead and do that in pencil real quick. We having fun yet? Hope you guys are having fun where you are. Life's too short not to have fun. I'm gonna do the hands in there in a very thin stroke because it's going to be a light source in there. I want to have them kind of like they're encased in the energy. Good evening, everybody. I know it's Saturday. A lot of people say not the best time to stream, but when's a bad time to draw? And just invite people to hang out with you. I don't know. I don't know if such a thing exists. We just gotta do what we're gonna do. We're gonna be consistent with it. And worry less about trying to game the algorithms. Over, under, over, and rewrap. Fine, should probably be a little bit thinner since it's closer to the light source, but again, we're just trying to get a good study that I can feel good about here. This incredible artist that was taken too soon. I'm not big into cross hatching, which is probably another reason why I'm drawn to artists like him that have a very clean and open style. I do believe in hatching. I do like to use hatching, but minimalist hatching just to allude to textural differences, right? Like we have this metal effect here, right? That's obvious. This is metal. At least it should. Hopefully, it's obvious. Should read like metal there around the waist, right? We have the metal neck piece. We also going to have the metal, obviously, with the helmet. But he has a very, I believe that it's just, clothes. Always playing with light. Remember, whenever we're doing hatching, we always do it in the direction of the contour, right? See a lot of young novice artists, they have these really wonky hatch marks that aren't in any real, they aren't consistent with the contour of the form. Thicken this line a little bit. Again, heavier line because it's away from the light source. These lines down here need to be a little thicker. All right. Again, for those of you who just joined us, I am Solo, Dr. Solo Perry, Doc Solo, my students call me, the director and founder of Ka-Pow, the Comic Art Academy, the most comprehensive comic art school of its kind anywhere. And we are currently interviewing potential students for our 23-24 school year, which begins in September. Only 7 seats remain. So if you think that you're going to learn how to bring your stories to the world and you think that you could be part of the family, let us know. Apply. Links in the bio and on the screen. I don't do a hard sell. I'm convinced that when you have something good that helps people and benefits people, check our reviews. That's all I can say. Google our reviews. Go to our Google My page and see what our current students are saying and past students. If you have any questions for me personally about who I am, what I've done, where I've been, I'm an open book, people. I am an open book. With a basic fist here, a well drawn, hopefully, but basic fist. I need to get too fancy here. Forgot about this camera here. Let's see if it connects. The hand cam. make it a juicier, something a little juicier. To give me a nice thick line. Start laying out this cape. Then I'm gonna start adding Kirby Crackle, a few more details. We're gonna call this one done. We're not gonna belabor points. Not gonna belabor points. And see, all these strokes I'm using by moving at my elbow and not my wrist to get a smooth curve without need for an S curve, even though I do have them. Start at the apex there. I'm gonna take this and give it a nice smooth stroke. All right, this is the risky part, and we stroke. Boom. A little bit of a tangent, but we'll go ahead and darken that in there. There we go. And we will boom, boom. Now I'm gonna start laying in some blacks in here. Put a lot of black up in here. It's gonna be nice and dark. All this is gonna be dark. This is gonna be dark. Hopefully I get enough time to finish this in today. Though I should have plenty of time. It's not as juicy as I like. This is a Tombow. It's giving me a great line on this white paper. Give me a great line on this white paper. Alright, let's go and lay down some blacks. We're going to use something really simple. We're going to use a Sharpie. We're just going to use a plain old Sharpie to just really fill this stuff in here. No need in getting fancy. Is it just me, or I love the smell of Sharpies? Hey! Son of Light, hello! School. Hey, my friend, how are you? Ka-Pow School, yes. Yes, gotta show it some love. How are you today, my friend? I hope you're blessed and highly favored on this fine Saturday afternoon. Working on a little Magneto character study. You snuck in through the shadows. Snuck in through the shadows. I love it. Love it. Yeah, I'm just working on some simplification studies, studying Mike Waringo, and just trying to see what of his technique I can incorporate into my own. I was on Whatnot the other day, and believe it or not, this is all a part of me starting back my Whatnot streaming. I stream on Whatnot where I actually sell my art. It's an e-commerce platform. For those of you not familiar, Whatnot is kind of like what you would get if eBay and Instagram Live had a baby, right? Live auctions, you can watch people create. It's actually not just for creators, for people selling anything. but it's live auctions and social media combined. And so I've been away for some time focusing on the school and my studio. And so one of my instructors at Ka-Pow was like, "So you started before me, and I've kind of lapped you." And like, "You have, you definitely have." And so I'm plotting my return to the platform, which means I need some things to sell, but I'm also looking for a way to simplify my art style. And again, for my animation, simplification is not a problem. I just don't want to look derivative of many of the other artists that I've learned from, that I've had to, implement their styles to stay on model. And so there's this fine line, where you want to kind of identify yourself as an artist, but at the same time, you want to, maintain your artistic sanity and give people some really cool art should they want it. My grandbaby's upstairs. Oh, my wife is okay. She has not complained, so I'm assuming I'm okay. I had to actually kind of snuck away to get down here and go live. You should have caught me seeing your ex-army. What do you mean? What do you mean? For those of you who are, as you came in through as you came in through the shadows. I should have caught you seeing as I'm ex-army. You have me at a disadvantage when we're drawing, man. When we're drawing, we don't. Everything fades to black. Nothing is obvious. It is attention consuming. It's attention consuming. So yeah, I'm gonna add a little bit of white to this as I finish it up, and Son of Light, I actually started on some more chibis for Honor Studios. I think I'm gonna make some chibi posters of the characters, some prints. So I started on the chibi Ebon X, jumping out of the shadows over the city. I believe in God that soon all my efforts will bear fruit, where I won't have nearly as much administrative stuff to do. My days will be filled just drawing and streaming. That's what I'm aiming for here. Kind of leave that line there. It seems to be serving a purpose. As Bob Ross would say, happy little accidents. Happy little accidents. Yes, look at that. Oh, isn't that beautiful? A little shadow there. Yeah, there we go. Just a little shadow. And see how it works. Yes, it's a happy little accident. Yes, and we don't just let it kind of work itself around. Amen. Amen. I agree. You get no complaints from me. You get no complaints from me, my friend. More seeds, more harvest. Indeed. And so for those of you who are just joining, I'm Doc Solo, the president and founder and director of Ka-Pow, the Comic Art Academy, the real online art school for real people with real lives, taught by real pros. And if you are interested in developing further as an artist, or just have a story that you want to share with the world and want to embrace the process of doing it yourself, I tell people, and it's a proven fact, art is not a talent. It is a taught skill, right? It is systems. It is techniques. It is quantifiable. And if you want to learn from industry pros that love teaching it and that are currently working in the industry, apply today at Ka-Pow or teachyoutodraw.com. He was definitely the Mr. Rogers of art. No question there. Absolutely no question there. Absolutely no question there. Be cool. Apply at Ka-Pow school. That would make you very cool indeed. And we only have 6 seats available. We opened up this year. This is our 3rd year of operation, and we are growing. And so, but we don't want to grow at the expense of the quality of the education we provide. Again, if you have any questions on, how effective we are, check us out. Visit our website. Check us out on Google. Check our Google reviews by our currently enrolled students and see what they're saying. These are people that are currently enrolled in our school. We like to keep the class sizes small so that we can really give quality interaction and feedback to our students. We really want to help you guys, achieve your artistic goals. Sophomores and juniors was only a 2-year program, and so we have students that are currently preparing for year 2. This will be our first year 2 class. That is distinctly Ka-Pow. Yeah, it's a 2-year program, certificate program, and they're excited. The first year, as I tell everyone, is not that much different from any other type of school. But the first year, it's really wax on, wax off, learning the fundamentals. Anatomy, proportion, perspective, the whole, all the fun stuff. Less fun, but very essential stuff. And then the second year, we do a deep dive into visual storytelling. Not for the faint of heart. But our teachers are so committed. And again, these are people that aren't doing it for the paycheck, but doing it simply really because the comic craft has been good to us, and we want to kind of share this passion and this love with those who want to learn. Did I clean down here? I did. I did clean. My wife said she couldn't tell though, which is hilarious. She's hard on me. She says I have, my wife is very much into interior design. She's so good at it. But she says to me, there's no focal point here. It's just a bunch of stuff. There's no focal point. You got to have a focal point for people. Now, I know the value of that in art. We teach our students that when doing compositions and scenes, right? What's the focal point? But in an artist's studio, it really is controlled chaos. Right? It's controlled chaos. And my studio, I've had other artists in my studio, and they say the same thing. For a studio, mine is considered extremely clean. You remember? I don't know. Quite honestly, I don't know. But I've had other artists look at my studio, and they're like, "Dude, your studio is stupid clean." And I'm like, "Okay." By artist standards, I'm doing okay. Because what I'll do is after I finish a project, right? And I know I've pulled out every pen, every marker. If I painted, I know I've gotten stuff everywhere. I know I've gotten stuff everywhere. I think I need more black in here. I'm being scary with the black, so we're gonna put black in here. I'm being a little bit too shaky with the black. I'll reset everything and I'll do a clean before I start on the next one. Yeah, my industry budget like Solo, your studio is stupid clean. I'm like, I think so. And there's a pervasive thought in the art industry. If your studio is clean, then you ain't working. And I think there's some truth to that. I think there's some truth to that. Oh, I got which writing pen? I've got their like I love Sharpie. I love Sharpie. It's industrial. I love. I don't know. I may have a problem, y'all. I love the smell of Sharpie. Now I'm not saying I'm sniffing, but I love the smells of Sharpies. It's like, oh, Sharpie. I'm gonna end up doing a technique to kind of he looks framed better like that. I like that. I like that better. But I have their brush pens, Sharpie S Gel. I haven't seen that one. I'm always in the lookout for a good writing utensil that has nothing to do with art. Really? I'm gonna have to check that out. I use Zebra pens. Now Zebra has a writing pen that this ballpoint pen artist recommended, and I fell in love with it. And you can buy them at Walmart, but they're incredibly smooth. Go ahead and start tapering this down. Get some hatching there. There we go. This is like just drying up, and it's giving me a great like hatching line. That's how I'm gonna do that. Oh man, are they public? Maybe my wife should look into invest in this with Sharpie. She does all the investments for us. I had started, but she just kind of really took to it in a way that I just didn't have the quite frankly the time and the energy with the school and whatnot. But I'm gonna mention that to wifey. This is one of the few times I do cross hatching, you all. But I want to kind of gently not a lot of muscle. Again, we're keeping it kind of simple and kind of open. Got to put this seam here. So let me get the seam down here. I like kind of breaking up the monotony of the costumes and showing like some stitching. Get rid of this. Not really helping anything. Yeah, that would be interesting if they got some. Are they public? Because it's those kind of companies that folks news on. Oh yeah, them dividends, man. Them dividends are everything, my friend. Yes, those dividends are life. This tonal paper has a slight bleed to it. I haven't worked on tonal paper in a while, but I'm getting back into it. I like that effect it's giving me. I like that. When I move slow, it's dry, but when I move fast, it's giving me this nice... I like that. That's kind of... I can live with that. Happy little accidents. I like that a lot. I must admit, when it comes to drawing utensils, I am spoiled for choice. I'm spoiled for choice. And I'm literally just grabbing whatever to see. Number one, make sure the pen still writes. And number two, to see how it reacts to the paper. The other thing is, I'm not planning on going over this with any extensive color, because I don't know if which of these are alcohol proof and which of these are waterproof. And trust me, it does matter. If I was going to go over here with the Copics, but I'm not. You're nice and juicy. You're nice and juicy. You're nice and juicy. My birthday just passed. It was July 4th, my friend. July 4th. Just passed. Yes, yes. My granddad used to call me Fireball because of my birthday. My nickname was Fireball as a kid. Had a lot of nicknames, but Fireball is the one that's nearest and dearest to me because of my granddaddy. He passed when I was a little guy. Yep. Fireball. Yours is December. So use in the winter. Use in the winter. Most of our birthdays, with the exception of some of my grandchildren, we call it July birthday season. This is heavy birthday time for us. My wife's birthday is actually this week. July 19th is her birthday. is what is this? Yeah, I gotta put this thing in Magneto's whatever these things are. I don't know what they were doing. These horns, which I never quite got, but he was a product of his times visually, so I won't complain. Want to kind of stay true. Classic Magneto. First time, I think this is my first time ever drawing Magneto. I think I may have done this. I think I did them on some cards. Do I have 2 computer chairs? I have 1 computer chair. Yeah, that's in 4 days. Yep, I have 1 computer chair. And this is just a regular stool. Then I have my recliner over there. Yep. 1 computer chair. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and frame this. Put this in black as well. Oh, absolutely. Vector? Absolutely. I'm proficient in pretty much every drawing program, whether Vector or Bitmap, as well as many animation programs. I'm refreshing myself with Storyboard because I have, now that Honor Studios is back up and going, I have some storyboard projects, not only for a client, but also that I want to do to start really pitching the idea of the Honor Studios animated vision. So yeah, I got all the stuff, my friend. I got all the stuff. I've been doing this a long time. I've been doing this a long time. Can't remember. I've been a professional artist for literally 30 years. 30 years. And the reason I claim 30 years confidently without feeling like I'm exaggerating is because I started I first got recruited by Marvel when I was 13, until they found out I was 13 years old. And then shortly after, when I turned 14, I started doing t-shirts design for a local screen printing company. And that was a regular gig, and that's why I say now at 51. So 14, when I was delivering, people say you're a pro when you get paid. And, when you get paid for what you do, I don't think that's true. I think you're a professional when you prove yourself to be professional at what you do. And that's when you're getting paid. You're delivering excellence in a timely manner. And that's a pro, in my opinion, right? When you deliver excellence in a timely manner. And at 14, I was delivering excellent t-shirt designs on time, and they were being sold at local stores, local department stores. This is when I was a freshman in high school. A doctorate worth of years. That's why when my students call me, I think I'm gonna start using that on YouTube. You heard it here first. I'm gonna just start saying Doc Solo, because my students call me Dr. Solo because my initials are DR. But one of my buddies is like, Solo, you really do have several PhDs worth of experience in this, considering all the courses I've taken, all the books if I show you my books, all the books that I've read. And I'm like, he's like, you need to just lean into that. And I'm like, I should. So it'll probably be Doc Solo from now on. Dr. Solo. But my students have been calling me Dr. Solo. And I always correct them, no, it's DR. And they're like, you're a doctor. It's like the stuff that you know, the videos that you show. And I do study like daily for like 2 to 3 hours a day. I set aside for just craft education. That's whether that's studying other artists or what have you. What up, Doc? You can say that right now. What up, Doc? I'll lean into it. If they gave out PhDs in comic art, I would have at least 2 or 3 of them. I'd have at least 2, likely 3. I can see that pretty confident without feeling like I'm exaggerating. If they gave out degrees and stuff. He's starting to look like Magneto to me. I was talking to one artist, Niobe, I think, and she was trying to work on her. I think she was redesigning her avatar, and she was like, "I don't know how it's gonna turn out." And I said, "That's the artist's curse. It's like you never really know how it's going to turn out, right? You never really know." You just kind of hope that you land in the range of what you had in mind. If you land in the range of it, you're winning. I'll go ahead and make this. If you draw it not from reference, would it turn out? If you draw it not from reference, it will turn out your brain's perspective of it. Even when you draw from reference, there is a level of interpretation, right? That I think a lot of people underestimate that you have to account for, right? You gotta account for it. I know people that draw from reference, and I draw from reference occasionally, often. I'm a fan of reference, actually. But even when you draw from reference, there's this weird thing that can happen from your brain to your hand, or something needs to get lost. And that's a fact. There's no guarantee that even drawing from reference, you're going to end up where you want to be. And we all interpret the information differently, which is I think the beautiful thing about the craft is that we all interpret the information differently. You know, when we teach our students at Ka-Pow, one of our first jobs, one of our greatest jobs, is teaching you how to see. If we can teach you how to see, you're gonna have a huge jump on your goals. How to interpret the visual information. Because first comes interpretation, then comes translation. And a lot of people focus on going straight into translation, and they ignore how they're interpreting the visual information. So like even what I'm doing right now with this Magneto piece, I'm actually referencing Magneto and at the same time referencing the artist that I'm trying to tap into his process without copying his technique. You know, trying to really see his, because he's long gone. He died in 2007, I believe, or 2007, I believe. But trying to tap into his process, like he uses a lot of deep blacks. That's still an Achilles heel for me, that I'm trying to overcome. So yeah, all right, we're gonna start. Oh, I gotta finish his. What am I doing? I gotta finish his cape. Got all this stuff coming over here. lot of stuff going on. So let me lay down these rivets in his collar. This should be interesting. If I can get through these rivets without totally jacking them up, I'm winning. It's amazing how his character's changed over the years. Now I could use a stencil. I have those. I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna try to freehand it. See if I can freehand it without totally jacking it up. I already laid in a few, but they're not properly placed. Alright, so we're going to see if we can go ahead and get these rivets in. I don't hear anybody upstairs screaming, so I guess my wife's okay with the granddaughters while I get this done today. Thanks for hanging out with me, Sunlight, and whoever else is there. If you're there, let me know. I consider myself a pretty friendly guy. Some people may disagree, but to each his own. I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but maybe I could be your cup of coffee. I know that's metal, so we're gonna go ahead and boom. Add some sheen here. Lean into the dark side. Frame this rivet with some negative space. Then frame it with some positive space. Like that. I think we're ending up with Magneto. I think. I think we're ending up with Magneto. So now let me put the musculature inside the gauntlets. I think I hear rain already. I think we got Magneto, y'all. I think so. Win-win. Alright, I'm gonna start putting in his I wanna do something. I wonder if I should be doing something darker with his shorts. I don't think so. I'm gonna just leave him. I hear thunder, or maybe that's my granddaughter. Maybe that's my granddaughter rolling around her walker. It's just you here for now. That's great. I don't. I'm not even like moved by numbers, son of light. That's the funny thing. I know that they'll come as long as I'm consistent. I'm not even really moved by numbers, man. I mean, I take the mindset that this is what I'd be doing if nobody was here. If you want to come hang out with me, you can. You know what I'm saying? If you want to come and hang out with me, I'm here. And the fact that you actually take me up on it, I love it. But if it's just me and you, I'm good with that. My old pastor used to say, God doesn't count, he weighs. And I used to love that saying. And I'm like, if it's good enough to weigh, he weighs you. He doesn't count. And if you all don't know, on Ka-Pow, yes, even though I'm not on my studio, I am a person of faith, and I take my faith with me everywhere. So yes, I did say God. You did not mishear. My church boy flag flies high. All right, so now I'm going to start. Now, so you're probably wondering why I don't have a lot of details on the hands. It's because my plan is to encapsulate the hands in some negative space. I'm going to use some Kirby Crackle. I'm going to make some, I'm going to keep it simple. I might do a little bit of something else later, but we're going to do some Kirby Crackle. The thing about Kirby Crackle is you want it random enough. Our brain likes order and structure. And believe it or not, if you're not careful, a pattern will emerge. It's happened to me more than one time, so I try to really get really random with it as much as possible, because we all have this kind of our own rhythm and our own cadence. Yeah, gotta get some Kirby Crackle going. It's funny, I was never a Jack Kirby fan until I really did a deep dive and started studying his art form and what he did, because I was always looking at the surface. But when I started studying Jack Kirby, I became a huge fan. I have not, and we're only talking like within the last 2 to 3 years. Now, mind you, I've been doing this for over 30 years, and I never quite got the fascination with Jack Kirby, why they called him the king, what was so great about his stuff. It looked weird to me. But now, I'm telling you, when you study somebody and you really have because I was sincere in my study, right? I really wanted to see, okay, what is it that I'm missing that has endeared him as this phenomenal, quote unquote, the king, in this industry that I'm a part of. And I saw a couple of documentaries on him, and went and got some books on his life and his upbringing. And man, and of course he was a vet, so was Stan Lee. So it was that. But the amount of work he produced, his page count, his daily page production, and his monthly book production was insane. And when you hold that against the quality that he was able to produce at that speed, it was nuts, absolutely nuts. And I'm like, okay, he. I've been the knee and kissed the ring, Jack Kirby. You are worthy of the moniker, the king. But it took me the better part of 40-something years to get to that point. I just didn't get it. I would just nod. And people were like, yeah, man, Now, man, I would love to get one of his original pages, knowing what I know now. Yes, Polaris. For years, like if you look at the old Marvel universe, Polaris was not one a daughter. She was just a mutant, and it was just coincidence. She was retconned to actually, because I'm like, somebody finally said it makes no sense that she's not related to him, right? And so Polaris was retconned to be quote unquote his daughter. And so yeah. I don't know whose broad idea it was to make it otherwise, but comics, right? Hopefully he passes muster. All right, we're about to do the fun part. We're gonna do some erasing, and then I'm gonna do some highlights, and we're gonna stick a fork in him. It would be nice if they made the movies like the comics, so lore is not different. Yeah, you have different decision makers. You end up having different decision makers, unfortunately, when it comes to the movie stuff. Rarely is there someone in there that is not only passionate about the source material, but rarely good luck finding someone in the writer's room, who comes in least familiar with the source material. Most of them are even clueless into, they're just, it's so much nepotism and the buddy system, the people that get these jobs and get in these writers' rooms and make these decisions, and many of them are not fans of the source material. It's rare that you get a fan. I'll tell people, even Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, when he did Black Adam, I called him a fraud, and I like The Rock, but he was not a fan. He was not a fan of Black Adam. He at best he was a lay fan. What Rock was doing was he was hunting for a character that he could still be himself and get a payday, because he wanted to get on the superhero bandwagon, right? And so there's no way you could be a fan of Black Adam and that character and end up with the movie that you ended up with. I'm just not buying it. He didn't even give us an Egyptian accent, man. I mean, how do you not give us an Egyptian accent? How do you not give us that? I think he would have been a great Black Adam if he would have not been, what he was he was The Rock cosplaying as Black Adam. That's who he was. He was The Rock cosplaying as Black Adam. I think he would have been a great Black Adam if he just would have actually taken the role seriously. I was excited. I was hoping he wouldn't mess it up, and he did everything that I thought he would do. So yeah, he did everything I thought he would do. This is the fun part, adding all the cool stuff. Adding all the cool stuff. I don't know if you guys can see, I'm just adding some white highlights using colored pencil. doesn't take much to make this stuff pop. Just like to give it a little bit of oomph. I'm gonna use a brighter white. I'm gonna use a brighter, like I did with the eyes, an acrylic white for his and this is just to add a little bit of visual interest here. That's it. Not gonna do nothing too fancy. Little edge highlights there. This is a luminance. I could have used should use my generals. This is a wax based. Probably would have got a punchier white from it, but it's okay. It's just a sketch. It ain't forever. Forever, ever, forever, ever, forever, ever. Forever, ever. I have this obsession with sharp tips, so forgive me. So yeah, this is my Saturday, y'all. Nothing exciting. Just got the grandbabies over. But we have them over all the time. I'm kind of ready to be, I love them, but I am ready to kind of be an empty nester for real. But they do bring so much joy. I'd be lying if I said they did. My watch is telling me it's time to stand because I'm sure my hips and my knees are going to be on 10 when I finally do stand. It's amazing just what a little bit of highlight color will do. It's like, I don't know if the camera's picking it up. I don't know if my camera's that good. That's one of my things to do as school grows and the channels grow. To get a much better camera, I guess that's part of the course. But there's an old scripture that says, "Don't despise the day of humble beginnings." And this is humble, but I'm grateful because I have more than I need and definitely more than I deserve. That is a truism. That is a truism. I have more than I need and definitely way more than I deserve. So I'm grateful for this. I got cameras that work. I know how to work them. I got something to play on. I'm able to. It's amazing how we as Americans, we get so spoiled for choice that, you know, oftentimes what we consider poverty is another country's wealth system, and we don't really fully appreciate how much we have. I tell you, want to appreciate what you got? Break some water. We take a lot for granted. I know I do. Like, I've got all these cameras, and I'm sitting here talking about another camera, right? I had to catch myself. You caught me catch? You saw me just catch myself. Is what you just saw. I don't want to ever come off as ungrateful, because again, I have way more than I need, and definitely more than I deserve. I think I need to get a little bit of this on so I can actually use it. You notice, and you know this, setting up another camera. See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm setting up another camera, y'all. This time on my iPhone, so I can get some content to put on a reel and on a story. And just like that, boom, I'm recording. I'm gonna take this on the inside. I'm gonna add some glow here, just kind of make it look a little bit negative inside the energy field. Just by filling it up with white. There we go. Now we're going to add some white opaque ink, and we're going to really jazz up what we got going on here. Some white acrylic. I'm going to add some white curvy crackle to it. Isn't that pretty? I got these wide markers coming. You know, Copic used to make the colored wide markers. Now they kind of make them empty, and you fill them yourself, which is smart from a business standpoint because it forces you to kind of not just buy the markers, but buy the refills, and that's the strength of Copics. And I have more than half of the entire Copic collection, admittedly, but there's this cheaper brand called Ohuhu, and I got on Ohuhu years ago during the pandemic when I was teaching on a platform called OutSchool, and parents are looking for affordable marker options for the young ones, and I gotta say this, I was a 5-star instructor on our OutSchool, teaching K through 12, you know, the comic arts, and of course being a man of color, not a lot of us in this industry. And anyway, Ohuhu now has upped their game, and now they have refills, because first it was just, you know, you buy them, which is why they're so cheap. They're alcohol markers. They're good markers. I have 2 sets of them. But once they were gone, they were kind of gone, right? And so now they have refills, and they have wide markers that are colored, and you can buy the refills. So I just ordered my new wide markers, and that's going to allow me to add some undertones to these. A for real, real. A for real, real. Got my other camera going right now, just so I can get some footage, and I don't need a lot. I already got 3 minutes going. Like I said, I'm really about to lean in now that I have these instructors, and Honor Studios we have a new direction and a new focus. Now, the majority of a lot of business success today, period, is highly dependent upon social media presence. So whether you're doing a Kickstarter, it doesn't matter what you're doing. And so if you're trying to grow something, this is the new marketing. This is the new TV. I'm Generation X. I'm an old fart. And I understand the game that has to be played today. It does. Myron Golden just really convicted me. I listened to one of his teachings / sermons the other day. I like how he kind of merges the faith with business, because they need not be separate as people believe. Not strictly. That's why I'm comfortable talking about it here. But it has nothing. My belief system has nothing to do with whether or not you learn from me and my instructors. We're going to give you the best we got, regardless of what you believe. That's not a prerequisite for coming to Ka-Pow. So just understand that. We want to help you develop the necessary skills to tell the stories you really want to tell. But I like how Myron Golden doesn't feel the need to, pussyfoot around his core belief systems. I'm going to add a little halo here. Not that it's necessary, but it's kind of cool. This acrylic pen is a little bit more not as juicy as I like. It's requiring a couple of back and forth stroke motions to kind of get the line that I want. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing actual pages and stuff here and layouts, and a lot of people say that they're comic artists, and this is all you kind of see are comic illustrations. And I had a discussion with one of my students a while ago. People say, "Ooh, comic artists," and I'm like, I'm kind of old school. What comics have you actually done? And most people haven't even done a comic strip. They do comic art illustrations, right? Like this, single character stuff, and posters and prints, which are cool, which requires a level of ability. But comic artists are traditionally storytellers, people that know how to tell a story in sequence. You're storyboard artists, right? And now it's kind of become this generic term, but I'm fighting for that. I'm reclaiming it. I'm like, no, because comic artists, those of us that do it, we want our flowers, right? Because it is a different. Like, there's some artists that I follow that are incredible illustrators, incredible. But if you were to ask them to tell a story in sequence, they couldn't. They absolutely couldn't. Yeah. It's. I don't think many of them are intentionally exaggerating. I think they're just kind of repeating what they've heard, and because it falls into the comic art sphere, that spectrum, they say, "Oh, I'm a comic artist." Like, I see it on the Instagram, like, and I look and I see any comics to speak of. What I see are comic art illustrations, comic style illustrations. That's what I see. Because for years, like, if you know the history of comics, for years, comics were frowned upon in the illustration world, because it was considered lowbrow work. It was considered demeaning work, because in the time of newsprint, illustrators were highly sought after. Highly sought after. If you were an illustrator back in the day, that field, you could be a very wealthy individual just being an illustrator. And so, but in many of them, they wouldn't even use their real names when they would fill in, you know, gaps between assignments. They wouldn't even use their real names on comics. They would use pseudonyms, you know, or aliases, because they didn't want to be associated with comics. So comics had a hard fight to become a legitimate art form, right? And so me knowing that history, you know, I kind of protect it a little fiercely, maybe more than I should. I'm like, oh, you're a comics artist. What comics have you drawn? If you haven't done one book, you're not. If you haven't done a strip, you are not a comic artist. You are a comic style illustrator. I welcome feedback. I welcome resistance. We can have that conversation. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. I think I'm gonna go back hard with this colored pencil in here. Kind of have some little waves coming. Show the magnetism, or look at past for magnetism. Are you enjoying this? Is it looking pretty good? I know you usually on Sunday Light, you see me do digital work when I'm doing Honor Studios in the morning. Now you can tell everyone you see me do traditional work. I'm gonna start doing some more traditional work on Honor Studios as well. It's just that most of the things that I have to do for it as of right now are require or will benefit more from me doing them digitally than they do from me doing them traditionally. You've seen it live. You've seen it live. Let me add a little bit of. Do I want to do that? I just want to keep it simple. I want to keep it simple. I want to keep it simple. Yeah, we're gonna call this done. We're gonna call this done. We're gonna call that done. Not a great, but this is part of that experimental process. I'm gonna get what I want from it. And this is part of the learning curve. This is one of those experiments that you kind of don't know how it's gonna turn out. The beautiful thing I know is somebody out there is a Magneto fan. When I go to a convention, and it'll sell. That's the beautiful thing. Or on Whatnot, somebody will buy it. So it doesn't absolutely suck. That's my thing. As long as it doesn't absolutely suck. If it absolutely sucked, then I got a problem. All right, let's sign this bad fella. Let's sign this bad fella. Well, thank you guys so much. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate you spending time with your dude. I always love our virtual conversations. So let me go ahead and put my handle down here. There we go. And today's date is 7/15/23. Cool. Cool beans. We'll stick a fork in that one, call them done. There we go. Thoughts, feedback, critiques, criticisms. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Check us out. Visit Ka-Pow or teachyourdraw.com. They go to the same place. Apply now. We only have 7 seats available. We have 2 interviews coming up this week. So next time I stream, that might be down to 5 seats available. For our limited seating for our classes beginning September 11th, 2022. If you'd like to learn from me and my instructors, check us out and schedule your free 15-minute interview today. We just want to make sure that we can help you reach your goals and that you're a good fit for the type of culture that we are building and the family we're building here at Ka-Pow, the Comic Art Academy. I am Doc Solo, the Comic Doctor. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I will see you guys, if the Lord says the same, next week. Stay tuned. I'm going to have more of a setup. I'm also going to be starting here at Ka-Pow called Studio Sessions, where there'll be 8-10-hour long, just daily live streams where you kind of can watch the other cameras in my studio and kind of see what I go about daily as a professional artist and as a business, as an entrepreneur. And so thank you guys so much for checking me out. And if you have not, if you want to see my own personal works, Son of Light, he can tell you, check me out at Honor Studios. Honor Studios. All right? Honor Studios, entertainment without compromise. These are my personal projects that are near and dear to my heart, but it's a new universe that you've never seen before that is already making waves. So thank you guys so much. I will check you guys later. Peace, love, and hair grease. Solo out.